Today. Joining us now on the phone from London to discuss the results is Ralph Silva, Research Director at Tower Group. Good morning, Ralph.
Good morning.
Well, UBS's loss came in contrast to many forecast-beating results, from many other banks. What happened with UBS?
Well, I think there's a variety of things that happened. But first of all, I think it's important to note that these numbers actually are coming out, and they were assessed before there was an agreement for the court case in the U.S. So at the time, they were seeing an enormous number of people, an enormous number of high net worth individuals pulling their money out of UBS, and they saw a huge number of outflows because of that. I do suspect that because the court case has been settled, that we're going to see some of that money come back. But that's really what's hurt them, because that's where their attention was, to deal with that, not to actually grow their business.
Okay, Elliot, go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, Ralph, I just want to say, we've seen, of course, UBS making these losses, others making huge profits. Is this an argument we're seeing now for banks to remain integrated, to have investment banking arms as well as having the general retail arms as well?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I think UBS is probably the example of why we shouldn't do it. But at the same time, we saw earnings from HSBC, we saw it from Barclays, we saw it from BNP Paribas. Those three organizations are completely the same model, and they're doing really well. I don't think it's necessarily the model. I hate to say this, but I think it's got something to do with the leadership in the organization. They literally changed their minds about the strategy of the bank almost on a monthly basis. We need consistency. We need to learn from the HSBC model. They made a plan 3 years ago. They're still following it, and it's been very successful. They need some consistency within the senior management of UBS for them to be successful.
Okay, Ralph, very quickly, BNP Paribas is apparently coping better during this recession. What is it doing right?
I think what it's doing right is it's dealing with its customers, and it's dealing with its core. It's actually focusing strictly on the French market. That's where they're making the money. They're putting the money where it's making the most, and that's in investment banking, asset management, and they're reducing their investment within the retail banking area because they're solid within that environment.
Okay, great. Our thanks to Ralph Silva, Research Director at Tower Group.